Hi, this is Dweezil Zappa, and you're watching Toasted.
You know, you're playing the Bospop festival. You just told me about how it's hard to play festivals because you don't have sound check.
Yeah, the technical difficulties that can be sprung up out of nowhere without a sound check, and you have a limited amount of time on stage as it is. So, but we're used to being able to think on our feet and make it work however we can. So, but it's just a drag because you always want to give the audience the best thing that you can, and when you have technical challenges, it's hard.
Do you guys do a lot of festival shows?
We've started doing more and more, and it's a good thing because it makes it possible for us to play the music in front of a younger audience. And the main thing is, a lot of people, when they hear about the project, they think, oh, it's just a cover band playing nostalgia music. And that's really not at all what it is, because my father's music is so ahead of its time. It's very modern, it's very current sounding. It's still like nothing you would ever hear on the radio. And a younger generation, for them to discover it now, I think is an excellent time for them to be. If you listen to what my father's music sounds like compared to current pop music, it's a whole other universe. We enjoy playing wherever we can, and that's kind of really the way that we do it is sort of a grassroots movement, like just show up and play.
And do you notice you're getting newer fans? Or?
We definitely have seen a lot younger fans, and I mean, ultimately, that's another difference that we've seen recently is that there's a lot more women at the shows. I don't know how or why, but it's not a bad thing.
Well, is Zappa's music more of a guy thing than normally?
I think that in the '70s, there was a good mix of women involved, but as time went on, it became more of like a guy thing, and so now it's nice to see that there are more women coming to the shows. I mean, we've been doing this since 2006, and in the early days, I mean, if there was 2 women in the audience, that would be like a miracle.
I actually only know guys who listen to the music, like old guys, and all these guys are like super fans of Zappa.
Well, that's kind of the thing that happens is that people, once they discover it, they become obsessed with all the details, and they get really excited about the whole world that's in the music, and it changes their perspective of music, and in a lot of cases it changes their lives, and that's not something that you could generally say about somebody who's created music. I mean, I hear it from so many people. They'll say, your father changed my life. You're not going to really get that when somebody says to the Jonas Brothers later on, your music changed my life. If they became a serial killer, maybe. But
when you first started out with this project, you had the old guys singing still. Would you?
We had some alumni in the beginning, but see, the thing that was challenging in the beginning was we didn't know if there was going to be a possibility of this going on a continual basis. So the first year, promoters were very keen to have some alumni because they wanted to make sure that the audience got something they were somewhat familiar with. The band, our band, was unknown to them.
Did you actually purposely look for unknown musicians?
Yeah, when I put the band together, I wanted to have unknown players because I wanted a younger band, and now the band really is at its youngest. With our newest keyboard player, who's 23, he brings the average age down quite a bit. But yeah, the goal was to show that the music could be played with respect and could be done well, regardless of if there was an affiliation in the past. I didn't want to rely on alumni because too many people have this feeling that the alumni have more to do with the reason the music sounds good than the composer himself, So my point was, we'll learn it, we'll play it. None of us are alumni, and my goal really was just to introduce the music to as many new people as possible. I knew that we worked hard enough on, learning the proper skills and learning the songs right, so that anybody who was skeptical would just have to listen for a few minutes. What we do is it's all about the music. We don't really create a show. It's not about dancers and pyrotechnics and all that stuff. So the thing about it is that too many people, as I was saying, put too much emphasis on there's these other versions of bands that go out there and play it, and they don't rehearse it and they don't respect the music and they change it and they try to draw attention to themselves as opposed to the music, and they sort of trade on the name, which is not what we're doing. We're giving people a chance to hear the music in the sort of truest version that you could hear besides the original, but with a real sense of the life of the music. I mean, I grew up with my father. I know a lot of his intentions behind all this stuff, and he had a certain phrase that was, you got to put the eyebrows on it, and I think that I have the ability to give people enough of all of the details that make it accurate, but also give it the spark and the life that makes it something exciting for people to get involved with now.
What actually surprised me most about seeing you now was the new vocalist you have, Ben.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
Yeah. It was funny because he started last year, and he had a really tricky situation to begin with, because what happened was we were going to work with a different singer, and he turned out to not be able to do it. He just physically couldn't handle it, and so we fired him. But the problem was that we had it was like a month-long tour of Europe, and we were leaving in like 4 days, and we didn't have a singer. So we had to get somebody that could learn a lot of material quickly, that had a passport and no criminal record.
That's the difficult part.
Yeah. Well, so in walks Ben to the audition, and he was able to sing Inca Roads and a couple other things that were really hard, and he had only just learned them the night before. So I said, all right, he's got the right work ethic, he can do this. And now with all the stuff that we're doing, we've really found a lot of material that I think accentuates the strong points of what he can do.
Now you've been playing this project for 4 years?
It's 5 years.
5 years already.
Yeah, we started in 2006, so this is the 5th year that we're doing it, and we have more shows already planned for next year. So it's.
But have you got any new ideas how to bring it to a younger audience, except for playing?
Well, the thing is, you can't really expose anything, without having to spend a lot of money, and we don't have the budgets that big record companies would have to do mass marketing or anything. So there's not a lot of different ways that we can do it, and we don't want to do something that gives people the wrong impression either. I'm not going to do like a big circus act and have a bunch of alumni again or anything like that. So I think that we have to just rely on the fact that we have a couple of recordings. We just put out a record that's called Return of the Son of. It's a live double album that just came out here in Europe, like I think a few days ago, and then we'll have another DVD. So these things will help in terms of the press being interested in talking to us. That's the challenge, is people aren't really interested in talking to us. People say it's strange, but it's happened. So it happened to my dad too. So really, in the case of this, not too many people understand that it changes so much. Like the songs that we play on every tour change a lot. So some people think, oh, they're just doing the same show all the time. And
definitely not.
No, we're not. But somebody that's only casually exposed to what it is that we do, that's their opinion. That they,
It's not like you don't have enough songs to choose from.
I know, with over 80 albums, it's thousands of songs. So And since we started, we learned over 130 or 140 songs, but we couldn't choose from 130 songs and make a different show all the time because we just can't remember all that stuff, you know. So generally it gets down to about between 40 and 60 songs that we choose from on a tour, and then it just rotates.
How did your dad used to do that when he was playing?
Pretty much the same way, you know. They'd learn sort of chunks of shows that could all be put together or fit together, segues, different ways, you know, whatever he was feeling at the time. But they would rehearse certain chunks, is what they would call it, you know, certain songs that would go together. And but I think in the '88 band they knew over 100 songs, you know, so that was a lot that they could choose from.
And then do you sometimes watch your old videos of your dad and see what you can learn from that?
I watch stuff all the time. I mean, even the other day I was watching YouTube and there was a clip of Frank at a sound check playing the song "Sleep Dirt," which you know, to my knowledge, I never saw them play it live. I don't know if it ever was played live, but there it was played live at a sound check, and it was really cool to see it. And now, you know, I want to look in the vault and see if we have any recordings of it.
And do you also try to look for songs he never played live and you want to play them?
Yeah, we've done that with a few songs. You know, one song this year that we've been playing called "Blessed Relief." As far as we can tell, it was never played live. At least it hasn't shown up on anything that we've seen in the vault, you know. So they might have played it at a show that didn't get recorded, but I have no record of it that I've seen yet. So, but then we had another song that we were playing that was called "Imaginary Diseases," and that one is it was only played in 1970 or 71. On a very brief couple-week tour, and then it was never heard again because it was never recorded. You know, it wasn't released as a recording, but then in 2006 we put out a record called "Imaginary Diseases," and that was on it. So a lot of people had never heard that song, so we were playing it, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, I don't like that song that Dweezil threw in of his own." It's like, it's not mine, it's Frank's, you know. So
actually, because there's so much material that does, is there anything you don't like?
I mean, I like it all, but there's definitely things I prefer more. You know, there's some stuff that's really a challenge to wrap your head around. It's not easy listening, you know. Like a record like Civilization Phase 3 is an amazing record, but it's hard to listen to it from start to finish, you know. It takes real concentration.
Do you also miss playing music of your own?
I don't even know what that's like, you know. One of these days I'll play some again. I've been asked by a lot of people lately if that's going to happen, and are we going to incorporate some of my own music into the shows. And originally I had no intention of doing that, but what we've seen happen is that the fan base likes this band as a band, and they're interested in seeing the evolution of it, and even to the extent that we start playing stuff other than Frank's music, you know. I hear it very often from people, so it's a possibility. I just, you know, I have to find the time.
And just writing music on your own yourself?
Yeah, I mean, that whole process, it's so much in the distant past that I don't even really know what it's like anymore, you know. I look forward to sitting down when I do have some free time and thinking about it and doing it, but I learned a whole lot of stuff through Frank's music, and I made a lot of changes to my own guitar playing, and I think all those things had needed time to settle in, and since they're there now, it will change how I write and what I write.
Do you still just pick up a guitar and play?
Yeah, but I'm usually practicing Frank's music. Yeah.
What is, at this moment, your favorite Frank Zappa album?
You know, at the moment, I've been listening a lot to "Shut Up and Play Your Guitar." I mean, I always love that record, but it's there's two solos on there that I've been listening to a lot. One of them is called "Canarsie," and the other one is called "Why Johnny Can't Read."